It's a really long screen.
No, it's fine. Hi, this is Elena. I'm a 3D artist.
And I'm Michelle. I'm a sister.
So this is my tulip video. I actually made a tutorial for this one. Okay, I don't make puns quite a lot, but I was having a hard time just now not saying tulip tutorial.
I think it every time you talk about these tulips. You said it once, and now it's stuck.
Yeah, it's not how I refer to it all the time, but anyway. So yeah, this was a tutorial, and I decided to make a quick little time lapse of it as well, just so Michelle and I could talk about it.
This is a 32-minute video.
Mm-hmm.
Just a super quick one.
I'm gonna cut that out because, well, no, it's because when we pause and stuff, or when we make jokes that don't land, I cut those out of the voiceover.
Oh.
So people are going to be watching like, no, this is a 26-minute long video.
Oh,
like, so then they'll know that we had 6 minutes of not being funny.
Of disagreeing about this 32-minute video.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep this part in now.
Oh, no.
But if people can see the time of the video, they'll know why it's shorter than what Michelle's claiming. She's not a liar. She just doesn't know yet.
Oh, no. Now we're fighting. These kind of look like press-on nails. I was looking at those in the store the other day. We went to Ulta.
Oh, Ulta.
I don't usually go to Ulta. But we did. And I was remembering you were getting nail polish, and we walked through the nail polish section. I was looking at those press-ons. They never worked for me when I was a kid. Do they work for you?
I never tried them.
Oh, it's like you use super glue, basically. Ooh. And then if you put them on crooked, it just was bad. Or you got super glue on the top, and then it was all like gunky on the top, and it didn't look nice. Oh, wow. But I like the idea of them. Maybe in my adult years I could try again.
Just do it. Yeah, I mean...
But my nails grow now. I feel like press-on nails are for when you don't grow your nails.
Or you're like me, and the weight of a nail, just when you haven't clipped it in like 2 weeks, is enough that you can't fathom putting on more than like a light nail polish layer. I don't think I could do press-ons because they're just too heavy.
I also wanted to paint my nails, but I don't want to ruin my growth. Because I feel like nail polish always makes my nails thinner. And it's been a long road. I had such a bad habit of biting my nails. We're not talking about your art. We're talking about how your petals look like nails.
Yes. All there is to it.
No, never mind. But for everyone that's wondering, I stopped biting my nails.
Yeah.
It took me 26 years or so when I stopped.
Happy ending, you know?
Yes.
We all love one of those.
You're all waiting for it.
Nails. Okay, did I have any anecdotes about what I've got going on? Because with this tutorial, I'll put a link to it, you'll find it. I had all these things I had to explain, but I had to re-record that voiceover that I did solo, which was hard. I had to re-record it a couple times because the conditions in my room were weird, like airplanes were going on overhead, that kind of thing. So I just have little bits and bobs of education in this tutorial that I want to say right now. Like, oh, okay, this is what I'm doing here, etc., etc.
You talk all quiet like that?
One of the takes, I was trying to talk quietly, and then I realized I couldn't do it consistently. Also, because I was talking really close up to my phone, and it kept catching all my, like, tongue sounds. So it was just like, this is unlistenable. It's one of my pet peeves when I hear other people do little voiceovers, is when I can hear their wet mouths, or when I can hear them breathe in.
Oh, dear.
So I didn't want to do any of that, and it was just hard with where I had placed my microphone. So I just needed to place it further away from me, but then talk louder.
I had an anecdote.
Oh my gosh. This always happens because I'll be like, do I have an anecdote? And I'll start to pull up my notes app, but I don't want to talk while I'm clicking around on my phone because it makes a sound.
Oh, no.
So while I'm doing that, you're always like, oh, I had one. Like, no, I was getting one.
She's mad again.
And you'll never hear it in the voiceovers because I just cut out where I say I'm going to come up with an anecdote. So it always just sounds like you've come up with one spontaneously. It was me. I bring it up every time, and she snipes it from me.
Remembering that you have an anecdote reminds me that I have one too.
I cannot believe this.
It's not a bad thing. We don't have to fight.
Okay, tell me your anecdote.
Okay, so the kids finished eating, and then I had their toothbrush stuff over at the couch, and we were going to watch our movie, and I was going to brush their teeth. They came over, and then I started flossing Avery's teeth, and then I looked at his clothes, and I realized, oh shoot, I forgot to remind them to change into their pajamas. This is a really long-winded story. All that to say, the movie started for like 20 seconds, and then I pushed pause on it for them to go change. Felicity came back first, and when she came back, there was one of the intro things with the guy and an arrow that's like shooting through a thing. And then she's like, what's that guy with the arrow for? What's this movie about? It's like, no, this is just, there's lots of people involved in making the movie, and they have a little intro about it. And then it was like, we let it play, and I was like, this one's called TSG Entertainment. And then the next one was a block that was swirling around, and it was Locksmith Animation. And then she says, ooh, it might say Elena Burmeister.
Gosh. She doesn't know my name.
No, she didn't even correct it either. And I think it's like how they look for your name, or they want to see your name in anything DreamWorks.
Yeah, totes. For some reason. Oh my gosh, Mo, is there a moth?
No, she wants out.
No. Want outies? Just gonna take her out of her misery. That's another pet peeve. Not Momo, but that's another pet peeve, is like when I watch people and they say a phrase, like just a commonplace phrase, but they're one word off, and it's like, it doesn't make a difference. But what I said right now is, I'm going to take her out of her misery. It's put her out of her misery.
Oh.
If I heard that from someone else, I'd be like, wow, they don't know anything.
I'm glad you said something.
Yeah. It sucks when you're a hypocrite, you know? That's my biggest pet peeve, actually. This is the inner portions of the petals, and then those are the outer ones that I'm going to get set up. It's rough because right now I'm in the process of making a poppy flower, getting ready for August, because that's one of the August birth flowers.
Oh, one of the.
Yeah, it's weird because all the birth month flowers, like, they list 2.
Interesting.
Most month. I think one of them might have, like, just randomly it's just 1. But most of them are 2. I don't know why.
What's ours?
Say what?
What's ours?
I don't know yet. Oh, daffodil. Daffodil and maybe something else.
Huh.
I only know that because Emma sent me a necklace that had a daffodil on it.
Okay.
But
I think we talked about this, but I already forgot.
Okay. Yeah, and that, like, I might have mentioned, too, that I didn't know that it was my birth month flower. And so I opened up my trusty floriography book and to see what the Victorian flower meaning of it, and it was, like, unrequited love. And I was like, oh, my gosh. My token
Tell me how you
read. So I was just shocked, and then I realized there had to be something else going on.
Gosh, what a move, though.
Yeah.
You could say a lot with flowers, and unless someone looked it up, they'd never know.
I mean, yeah, there was a big chance I wouldn't have looked it up. Yeah. I would have just texted her, like, do you need to talk on the phone to me? Do you have something to say? Gosh. What if it was, though? What if it was her way?
And you rejected.
I was like, oh, yeah, silly, right? This is my birth flower month. Gosh. I'm so rude.
Wow.
I need to call her right now.
Do it in front of everyone. They'll record it.
No. Okay. But I wasn't talking. Oh, okay. I started to say something about how I was making a poppy. And I'm making one for August eventually. And it's rough because the way this tulip is arranged, like at the base of it, with just like 4 petals on the outside there, and like the way they look and the way they're positioned, it's very much like how a poppy is. It's just the poppy's petals are shaped a lot wider and a lot more rumply. But it's just like, do I care enough to start a poppy from scratch? Like, should I just start with this tulip base that I had going on here and proceed from there? I don't know. It's just been like wrestling with that decision for a weekend, I guess. I think I'm just gonna make it from scratch. That way I'll know that I tried my hardest. Mm-hmm. Or it's like, work smarter, not harder. If it's the same base, why do I care? I don't know. See, that's why I'm still wrestling with the decision. We'll get there someday.
No, you said poppies at least 5 times.
Mm.
And I had to hold it in.
Poppies will put them to sleep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Does anyone else have that Wizard of Oz quote stuck in their heads whenever anyone mentions poppies?
I wouldn't have for the longest time, but you mentioned it with such ferocity that I had to eventually just keep it in my head. Because I feel like it was years worth of you mentioning it maybe once a year.
Puppies will put them to sleep.
It's like, why is she being so weird? Like, am I related to her?
It's good. It's just good.
But yeah, I had an anecdote.
What's your anecdote?
I guess it's not like a real anecdote.
Oh no. Tell it now. I'm too intrigued.
Well, no, it's one that you already know because you were there.
Okay.
So
I'll pretend I wasn't.
No, it's just like there's gosh. I think it's like this kind of Tumblr joke I've heard where this is like a weird intro to get to the story that you already know about Shell. But it's like it's this thing where it says like what she says, I'm fine. What she's thinking, and then it's like a whole paragraph's worth of like I don't know, like Avatar or something, and it's like a whole essay's worth of thoughts on that, or like anything else, and it's like, but she won't say anything about that. She'll just say she's fine. Anyway, it's like a dumb joke, I think that stems from like, don't judge people so harshly because you don't know what's going on in their personal lives. They may be thinking a lot about Avatar. Anyway, so this week we had to drop a package off at FedEx or whatever, and then we were leaving the parking lot. We were behind one car, and both us and the car in front of us, we needed to turn left, and it was like mildly busy. Like it wasn't the worst kind of left turn ever, but it was still a kind of intersection where we didn't have a light of our own, and you know, you're always just like waiting for it. Like, oh, I think we can, like both cars can get in. We're just like ready. And so a really good opening comes up, this like total blank spot, no cars either side, but the car in front of us is not going, and we're kind of huffing about it, like, what is this car's problem? But then I think Shell and I both looked into the reflection of like the person's window to see, like, we saw this woman and she looked kind of like a little panicked. We're like, okay, something's going on. And then she like jumps out of her car, like opens the door and everything. Shell rolls down her window, and the woman's like, there's a grasshopper in my car. And then we were just like, she heard us, I like laughing or being like, oh, it's okay or whatever. So she was able to just like get it out of her car real quickly. And like, but she was, I don't know, it was just like, you don't ever know what's going on in someone's personal life. There may be a grasshopper in their car. Is all I had to say about that.
Yes.
But it was really cute. I had this other thing. Oh yeah, so Shell and I we both put in some effort on the captions of these videos. Whether people put the captions on or not, just know that there are always captions that we have gone through with a fork. What is that?
Fine-tune.
A fine-toothed
comb. Don't say fork or it's stuck in my head. Fine-toothed fork.
A fine-tuned spoon.
A tuning fork. Maybe that's what you're going with.
Fine-tuned spoon. Anyway, so we go through the captions, and out of curiosity, I like just copy and pasted all of the words of our captions and put them through, I think it was like wordcounter.com or whatever the top result is when you search for word counter. And it gives you a ranking of the words that you say the absolute most and tells you just how many times you've said that in the text that you have in that space. And we know that we say like a little too much, and so we've been working on that. But it was weird because like was not even listed as the very most top biggest word that we would say. We say just more than we say like. As in, oh, I was just going to the store, or like, I'm just going to tweak this a little bit. It's just weird. It's a sneaky one. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to take like out of a sentence, and, you know, there are very few sentences where like is the actual term you want, but I don't know how to replace just.
You can't. I don't even think about it, even though that was something we mentioned. It doesn't click in my head that I say that. I don't know. I don't think I said it once in the words that you said. Just. But I feel like with like specifically, I use it instead of they said. Mm-hmm. She was like, da, 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 da.
Yeah.
So that one's hard to replace. But I don't feel like it's obnoxious because I'm giving you the rendition, or, you know, the monologue straight from the source. Mm-hmm. She was like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it is kind of like, it's too stodgy to say, oh, and then they said XYZ. It's like, this isn't a textbook. This isn't a novel. And I think it's useful for, you're paraphrasing. They're not, if I say, she said this, I'm giving you an exact quote. But if I say, she was like, then it's like an emotion or a vibe of what she is saying.
Yes, I agree.
So I think it has its uses, but it is irritating when you realize you say it too much. Mm-hmm. And it's irritating to know that I've done this since, I think 7th grade was the first time that I realized I was saying it too much. And then I worked on stopping, and I eventually was able to, sift it out for a while. But it's just going to keep coming back.
Well, it was rough because we went to a high school where we had to do a lot of presentations. And when you're doing presentations, they want everyone in the audience to be critiquing you. Oof. And so a lot of people would pay attention to that kind of thing because, like, oh, that's a good thing to point out. Teachers will love that I said that. So there's been a lot of times where I got harassed. Wow. For the likes of the ums. Do something you're really uncomfortable with, but don't say
We went to the high-tech high schools. We were in the high-tech village. Did anyone live in San Diego? Put it in the comments.
Yes.
Hey, were you one of our classmates? Put it in the comments. Also, block me. I don't want you to know what I'm posting.
Sometimes she does mention some odd high school interactions.
Oh, gosh. And I had this one final little anecdote. That's not really an anecdote, but I was just... this might be relevant. I bought a 3D printer this past week. And in preparation for that, I watched a lot of reviews of them and unboxings and setup videos and all sorts of stuff, just trying to get a lot more information on all the different models that I was interested in. And one of the fellas, he was saying that, because I'm looking at resin 3D printers, and some of the resin might cure around some parts of the printer that need to come out, and sometimes it'll get stuck in there. Oh. And so this fellow was saying, the vat got stuck in there. He was saying, for love nor money, I couldn't get it unstuck. I got it unstuck eventually. Oh. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You said you couldn't. Like, why would you lie to me and then call yourself a liar right afterward?
Shameful.
So anyway, I'm gonna make a little unboxing / setup thing of my 3D printer, and I hope I don't make any exaggerations like that. We'll see though, because like I said, I'm a hypocrite, and it's my worst quality. We'll see what I achieve. Yeah, for anyone who's curious, I got the Uniformation GK2.
I was curious. I know nothing about them.
Yeah, I got a good one. And I got on sale, too. Usually it's like $850. I got it for $650.
Ooh. Are you doing a solo unboxing?
I might have to, because it's going to come right when you guys are leaving me.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we're leaving.
Yeah, they're going to Glenwood
Springs.
Yeah, they're going to go on roller coasters without me.
Yes, I'm hoping there's enough to do for Avery. I haven't measured Felicity since her birthday, so hopefully she's grown 1 inch in 1 month. But we have a backup of just the tall shoes for those rides. But I'm excited. At the very least, we get to ride a gondola, which is like one of those inside, and it goes up the ski lift type of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Man, I know. Okay, so Shell and I, when we were seniors in high school, separately, 3 years apart from each other.
She does this a lot. I never know if you're referring to your age or my age, but it's like...
So when you were a senior in high school, and also 3 years later when I was a senior in high school, we both had the opportunities to take international trips. So Michelle went to France, and I went to Italy. Anyway, so I remember that Shell... you know what? This wasn't in France for you. This was your friends who went to India. There was the commodity of riding on an elephant, and it was really expensive, but your two friends, they had a lot of money to spare, so they just did it, and it was a fun memory. Anyway, I had a similar thing where there were gondola rides in Venice, and so there were a couple of my classmates who went on that trip. They splashed out that money. It was like, damn. Yeah. But it was like, I don't know, I always think of the gondolas, and I'm just always thinking still, like, I wasn't willing to spend those €100 on that.
Yeah. Fun to watch. You saw it. You saw it in person. You know what it's like to ride on a boat. Was it really necessary?
Yeah. And it still created a story that I was able to tell about not going.
Exactly. Like, I didn't get to walk up the top of Eiffel Tower.
Oh.
But we were there. We got to look underneath it. So it's a story.
Yeah.
Our tour guide didn't accommodate us for that particular venture. Yeah, I was like, we missed out on a lot of stuff because we were with the cheap plan of students with the tour guide. Like, all the foods you wanted to have, classic things. I don't think we even got creme brulee.
Aww.
We had the stalest, breakfast croissants in the morning. And we didn't get to try escargot. There's a lot of things we missed out on.
You know what? I wonder if breakfast in Europe is just not good, because in Italy, every breakfast option we had was just so bland or just not fun. But it's like all the other things, there was some variety. You could get good food or not. I suppose because we often started off at our accommodations, and so they just had like cereal.
Yeah. I mean, we went to restaurants, but they were like the chosen restaurants.
Oh.
And we wouldn't get to pick anything on the menu. It's kind of like, here's the kids' menu.
Oh, dang.
You get to pick one of the pre-selected ideas of a food.
We had a lot of freedom in Italy. We didn't even stick with our chaperones.
Well, there were free times when we could go get lunch or something, but no one was going to go to a fun restaurant like that and like sit down and have all the fun things you could ever want. It's like,
we did?
There's the bakery on the side of the road that you can just go in. Like, I got like a weird pizza that had, I don't even remember what it had. Mushrooms and ham, I feel like.
It's not weird. Gosh.
Yeah,
I guess I had a nice... I thought you were going to steal my story of having a pizza that had potatoes and tuna on it. Gosh, but it was nice because we would often go to a destination with our chaperones. Like, we went to the Trevi Fountain, and we would be there, like, early afternoon, and then it'd be like, all right, bye. Find your way back. Be back by this time. Have a fun day.
Huh.
So it was good. Or it would be like, we would be at one location, and they'd be like, all right, find this museum by 12 o'clock today. And
wow.
if you're late, you owe us €1 for every minute you're late. Or
oh my goodness.
But it was good. We had 3 chaperones, and they were all really, like, they were all friends with each other, so it was kind of like a girls' trip for them.
Yeah.
But they also had 20 kids to watch over.
Yeah. I feel like our group was relatively small. I feel like 15 or maybe even less than that. Mm. And then we had two chaperones. And they too were like buddies.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, I liked it because it was, like, both of our schools did this thing where it was just, 1 or 2 weeks of, like, all the grades can mash together into a class of their own particular choosing. And so some of those would end up being an international trip, or other classes would be, like, this was every year. It was, like, one of the things was, like, a teacher hosted a Top Chef class. And so she just taught us cooking for 2 weeks straight. Whoa. That was her passion. Anyway, so it was really cool because on our trip there were maybe like 8 seniors, and we were all friends with each other. But then, like, the juniors and the sophomores who were there, we all got super close. Aww. And there wasn't really a big deal that we were different grades, when normally we wouldn't have much occasion to talk to each other. But it was a good trip.
Yeah, I feel the same. We had a good bond with everyone.
Yeah, since you guys asked.
Yes.
We had this other anecdote, because... Okay, so our trip was 10 days. We spent 5 days based in Florence, and we would take trains out to go to other cities. And then we spent the other 5 days based in Rome and went around that area and other places nearby. And so when we got to Rome, we had a few hours to just kind of chill out because we were tired from waking up early to do the train. And so someone just put on the Lizzie McGuire movie. Where it's like she goes to Rome and she goes to the Trevi Fountain, and we knew we were going to go to the Trevi Fountain later that day. So it's like one of our friends in the group was like, I can see everyone's faces here. How can I make this happen for me? How can I be Lizzie? Yeah. It's just, if there's any time to watch that movie past the time when it came out and was popular, it's when you get to Rome.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, what's funny about those trips is, like, after you go to those places, you come home and you're reminded of. There's so many references to it, too. I remember watching The Bourne Identity right after, and it's like, they were at that one train station, and I remember everything about it, and it's just, why are they showing that now, right after I was just abroad? Yeah.
Or even local places, because we watched The Italian Job, and then we saw that we were taking a train through LA, and we saw that little, I think it was a canal or something like that. It was like, they went through here with all their Mini Coopers!
And I felt so obnoxious, and I feel like you guys were feeling this. Like, every time, it's like, oh my gosh, I was there! I did that! It just kept being relevant. But then finally you got your comeuppance, probably.
3 years later. I don't know if I ever felt I was obnoxious. If I felt that way, I erased that memory from my heart.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Gosh, we got all our talks about the TULIP out. You know what? Okay. I need to mention, this is the second time that we're recording a video for the TULIP, or a voiceover for the TULIP, because we tried a couple weeks ago, but we ended up saying a lot of petty stuff, and we couldn't take it back. Anyway, So I was trying to edit through that voiceover, find any nuggets of good moments where we wouldn't feel like we were just making shameful spectacles of ourselves, and there was nothing. So we are re-recording this one. But I'm glad that we can talk about things that are not so petty. Although I keep on talking about pet peeves this time. So maybe there's something in this tulip video that takes it out. But anyway, I'm glad because in the previous recording, I didn't know why they were called tulips. I kept being like, there are more than 2 petals. There are more than 2 lips. It doesn't even look like a pair of lips. It's not about that. That's just a coincidence for the English language. It derives from a language where the word they're translating relates to turban. It's supposed to look like a person's turban.
Huh.
And like you can see it if just like Google tulip and turban and you'll see it. Or just look at the tulip as it is and you'll be like, yeah, that's definitely a turban. No changes needed.
Interesting.
All turbans are pink. So glad to know that. Glad to share that.
Yeah.
Ooh, dang. If you ask me what the Victorian flower meaning of it is, don't ask instead. I can't think of what that is.
One last anecdote about my trip.
Okay.
I will never forget. It was a silly thing, but we had passes to the subways, but you needed a pass to go through the gate into the subway and also to go through the gate to get out of the subway.
Ooh.
And it was so bizarre. And the tour guide, I guess, messed up on the number that we had, so we only had the ticket to go into the subway. When we got out at our stop, we all had to jump the turnstiles to get out of the subway, and it was like we were all rebels, and it was like something we got to do together, but it was like, this is illegal.
Yeah, if you ever go back to France, you're gonna get arrested.
I don't know.
They have your name on file.
It's possible. Well, I'm not a CU anymore. They can't find it.
Good point.
And I am, 15 years older, so I look totally different.
15. You know what? You're right. I'm so
Yeah, I was just realizing that it's been 15 years since my high school graduation.
Gosh. That's bizarre.
Isn't it?
Yeah. It's the right number. Is it? It is.
It is.
Math,
09. Plus 1 to 10. 14 and then 1. It's 15.
Oh,
how do you do math?
Just good. In my head, privately, where no one can judge me for adding weird. Yeah, never go back to France.
I want to.
Go with Mom. She wanted to do a trip.
Could take the kids. That'd be so fun.
Gosh,
what do we do?
She suggested, she mentioned wanting to do a trip, and then I don't think I said this out loud, Mom, but I was thinking it in my head that, I recently renewed my passport. I think you would need to get one yourself, but, I can go with you internationally.
I need one.
What?
I need one.
Yeah.
Well,
I need one. The Chillins need one.
I didn't change my name after we got married, and so since we went on the cruise, I was able to use the CU one still, and I changed it after we got back, of course. Now I'm Burmeister. But it's definitely expired, and also it was wrong even if it hadn't expired. So I need one for 2 reasons.
It's out of stock.
And the kids don't have one, so if we were going to do anything fun and crazy,
yeah,
we'd have to wait a couple months.
Ta-da!
Oh, that was so quick.
It's been half an hour.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, put your favorite flower in the comments so I can prioritize it.
Dun 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 dun.
Wow.